Alright guys, welcome back. So before we kick off, I've just got to say, if you're thinking he's looking a bit more handsome than usual, it's just because I've got a new phone and we're filming in 4K. So yeah, that's the reason. Although saying that, most of my viewers are male, so I dare say most of the male viewers will be probably switching the resolution down to about 360p or something like that. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. As you might have seen from the intro, you'll notice we've got a bit of a situation going on. So for quite a couple of months or so, I've been noticing some issues that I've not been able to get on top of. Now, I've never been able to find any parasites. Fish have always been active, feeding properly, you know, scent okay. It's just they've been doing odd flash now and again. But each time I've scraped them, I've never been able to get to the bottom on it. Never been able to find anything whatsoever. But what I did yesterday is I got one out what's been showing some signs, a few problems, and I get it a scrape. But what I did differently this time was, usually I use the little cover slips, you know, what you put on your slides. But this time I didn't use one. I just put the mucus straight onto the slide itself and just looked it under the microscope like that. And yeah, sure enough, this time without a cover slip on, I could see things perfectly fine. So I'm guessing that that's what I've been missing. I've been missing the costia. Now I can only presume that it's this cover slip that's been causing me issues trying to see it, because now that I've done it without a cover slip on, I've seen it perfectly clear. So I'm not going to be using cover slips no more, that's for sure. So right then, so what I'm going to do, obviously found a fluke, one fluke. Not too concerned about that at the minute. It's this costia that I wanted to get on top of. So what I've done is I've already done one dose of PP treatment. Now usually my first protocol for things like that, for costia, childrenella, things like that, usually my first protocol would be FMG or Alparex. Now one, I ain't got any Alparex. And secondly, although I've got FMG, there's still traces of salt in my pond, and formalin and salt in a pond, not very good. So yeah, my next choice were to PP it. So I've already done one dose of PP. Now I don't do PP as stated on the packet. If you're new to using PP, then I'd highly recommend doing exactly what the packet says. Personally, myself, I've always found that, well, especially when it comes to dealing with tricky parasites like costia, what can be a little bit tricky to get rid of, I've always found that the packet instructions doesn't really touch them. So what I've done is my own personal preference. I'm not going to tell everybody what I've done or what dose I've done. I don't want no one to copy it. But I've always found that a standard dose, what's on the packet, all it really tends to do when you're dealing with costia and things like that is oxidize and possibly knock it back slightly. But I've always found it never seems to fully rid it, not unless you're doing a really, you know, good treatment on it. But like I say, I don't want anyone to copy what I've done, so I'm not going to tell you what dose I've done. If you're new to using PP, stick to what packet says, that's all I can say. And for you guys out there that are experienced at using PP, well, need I say more? You already know what works and what don't work, so there's no point me saying any more about that. So what I'm going to do now, they've already had one dose of PP, so I'm going to administer a second dose of PP tonight. The first dose I did last night, that, I mean, it was dark, so I couldn't really tell too much, but I think it lasted around 3 hours. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure we've got on top on it and really hit it, I'm going to get a second dose today. So I've got kettle boiling. I'm going to get some PP mixed up, and yeah, I guess get it dosed again. I really need to get a bloody overflow fitted in this system again, guys. 10:30 gone last night. I had to come down to this pond to bloody empty some water out. It's getting a joke, and they're absolutely banging it down. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get another overflow sorted at some point, because I can't keep doing that. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna crack on getting some more PP mixed up, and I'll catch back with you guys in a bit. Right, that's just PP mixed up, guys. Just added a bit of pond water to it. I'm gonna let it cool down a bit before I put it in. Just give it a bit of a mix up. No banging a stone in it at all, I think. And Rob, if you see this, mate, I'll buy you another pack of PP. Right, that's pond purple again now then, guys. So we'll monitor them for the next few hours. Can't really see it in this light, but I can see it. So yeah, see how they go now. I'll leave this now over the next few hours, and then once this course of treatment's done, I think I'll leave it a couple of days and then get the same one out again and scrape it and see where we are then. I think it's about all we can do for the time being. Yeah, and then hopefully this PP will have cured it, all being well, and then we can start and think about tackling the fluke. Just another thing that I want to mention about using treatments in pond with salt is formalin's a definite no-no. Now PP can be used with salt, but it needs to be your salt level in your pond needs to be really low. Mass salt level at the minute is only at 0.1, so we're totally fine at that. If it were much more than that, then I wouldn't even be thinking about it. So just bear that in mind. You know, you can use salt in a pond when you're using treatments, but just do your research on what you can use it with and at what amounts. Last thing you want to be doing is chucking treatments in your pond, you know, and then basically buggering you up because you've got salt in your pond. So just keep that in mind. So let me know what success, if any, you guys have had with treating Cossia with PP, because they can be tricky little blighters to get rid of at times, especially if you don't get your dosages right. And that's why it's so important to know your pond volume. Bloody thing, written me to there. So that's why it's important to know your pond volume accurately, so you know what you're dealing with. Let's see if we can go back in there. Yeah, if you don't know your pond volume accurately, to win, say, something like win 10%, a few videos back I used the salt method of calculating my pond volume. So I'm pretty confident in my accuracy level and my pond volume, so I can't see why it won't work. So we shall have to wait and see. Just looking outside now, it's half going dark early, isn't it now? Coming home at 4:30 and already going dark. Getting towards that time of year again, guys, isn't it? And speaking of time of year, first time today on radio I've heard a Christmas song. I shit you not. Mariah Carey. Who else was it going to be? Apart from Bublé, of course. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave this one here now, guys. I just wanted to update you on what's going off here with these things. Like I say, I've been looking for this problem for quite a while now, so I'm hoping I can get to the bottom on it. So, right, catch you later, guys.